9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1, and it looks like we might go live any second now. There we are. I'm holding a lime, but I'm not going to eat it. Don't worry. Just check if the sound's doing fine. There we go. Sound's doing great. Let's just wet the filter here, and we're going to go. Life can be hard sometimes, and when it gets hard, we don't feel like doing the things that are necessary to stay fit and healthy. But in the long run, one hard day shouldn't affect how much we invest in our health and fitness, should it? So what we're going to talk about today, being consistent. And I know it's Friday. Usually on Friday we talk about friendships and connections and mastery of things. But here we are. I haven't actually done a podcast since Monday because it's been a busy week and because I've been suffering from some motivation issues. So this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart at the moment, and I would like to discuss it with you. It's also been a busy week. What can I say? Been 2 days that I've actually left the house early and been out and about and traveling, and they've been intense, but I think I have achieved a big milestone before my summer break, and that means I feel comfortable going into summer break knowing that the second half of the year I'm set up for success at work, and that gives me peace of mind. Wouldn't it give you peace of mind? So there's an insight into everything else that goes on to my life. Hey, for those of you who are dropping by the way, this is the first time you're here. My name is Toby. I'm 41 years old, and I'm standing in my kitchen making coffee while we talk about health and fitness, because I would like to live an active, adventurous, and self-sufficient life, not only now in my 40s, but in my 50s, 60s, and 70s as well. And the way I do that is that I work on my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours of good quality sleep every night. And that's proven to be hard for the last week and a half. I think that's playing part in the motivation struggle. I try to eat well. I try to eat within my energy balance, so I don't try to eat too much. I don't try to eat too little. I try to eat sufficient to stay where I am right now. Weight management in that sense, weight maintenance is the goal, and all the while trying to chip away at my soft tissue and increase my muscle mass over time. So those are things that I work on. You know, I do that through food and through exercise. I can wake up every morning, I do 30 minutes of training. And during the workout I stream and I talk about health and fitness as well. And during the podcast we talk about health, fitness and longevity rather than just training, which I think is a small part of the entire equation related to health and fitness. But hey, that's the way I look at things. Maybe you see things slightly differently, so go ahead, let me know in chat, say hi, ask a question, and we can continue the conversation either in chat or in the comments or any other way. Anyway, so today's training, right? After you hit like and subscribe, of course, to my channel, because by now you think I'm pretty awesome, that coffee looks nice, and the topic of conversation seems like something I could have over breakfast, lunch, or dinner. While we wait for my coffee to brew, you can hit like, subscribe, and maybe check out my channel. Main goal right now for me, by the way, is to get to 3,000 minutes of watch time. So if you just want to hit a video and watch it through to the end, that would be absolutely awesome and it would help me out. But maybe you want to talk a bit more before you decide to spend more time with me. Great place to start is the podcast. We talk about today's training, and we're going to talk about motivation or consistency. And we're going to talk about small change we can make in our daily routine, if any. But I'm sure there are a lot of small changes that we can make. I did a full body strength and conditioning workout with a kettlebell, 12 kilo. I did 100 kettlebell swings in 10 minutes. I did seals, I did squats and overhead presses, so in one flow, right, 10 times, and then did kettlebell halos. And I filled time with that up to, I think, 22, 23 minutes. And I did 6 sets of rows, just 10 on the left, 10 on the right side. That was full body workout. Hit every muscle in my body, I think, including my heart. So it was a strength and conditioning workout. You can go over to the channel and check it out. It is right there. I think it's workout 521. So that's something you're interested in. And I have some basic kettlebell tutorials for some basic moves, because I think that's just important to get right before we do some of the slightly more complex things. And we can break anything down. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Let's see. Today, motivation. I'm struggling. Maybe that's why it's top of mind. And I think it's absolutely normal to struggle with motivation and with consistency. I think, to my mind, motivation maybe keeps you going, gets you going, but it's routines, habits, systems that probably keep you in motion over time, right? The fact that I wake up early now is a habit, and once I've woken up, I find it hard to go back to sleep, so I might as well come down and do a workout. It's just the way it is. I also have the habit of going to bed early, and I almost fell asleep before 9 p.m. One of the kids woke me up, and then I couldn't, the point where you almost fall asleep. And then you wake up, and then it's impossible to go back to sleep. It took me another hour and a half to fall back asleep. But I understand why he's restless, because it's hot, and it's harder for him to fall asleep with the bright sun outside. He thinks it's day. Even till late in the day. The older one, knockout, because he goes to school and has more on his mind, so to speak. So he rests better. But besides that, it was my back getting injured 3 months ago, right? 2.5, 3 months ago. My shoulder, after a set of presses, still acting up, or the chain of muscles in the shoulder. Benjamin Hollingworth, thanks for dropping by again. It's good to see you back on the chat and on the stream. And I hope you're doing well where you're at in the world. And I hope life is treating you well, and that you're off to have a good day or a good night's sleep, depending on where you are in the world. And then last week it was my foot that I even needed to go get an x-ray of to make sure that it wasn't broken, because it had just swollen up and was hurting tremendously. YouTube Punk, thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I was wondering where you've been, how you're doing. I hope everything's going well in Texas, and I hope you're well and family are doing well as well. Things are going fine over here. By the way, we're just talking about motivation. So it's and. So with the back, I had to change my training schedule. I was doing so well. I was going so good, right? So picking up the 20 kilo, and it was light. I was doing 200 swings in 10 minutes, and it was great. I will always tell people to sleep rather than scroll any day. You need to rest and recover, to stay strong and healthy. So thumbs up for that. In fact, if it's late at night and you're listening to me, put me by your bedside and listen, because I might put you to sleep with my deep, charming chocolate voice. I don't know. But it might work for you. I know it's worked for some people on the stream. I know you're a big supporter, and I'm seeing my watch time go up, and every time I see it go up, I wonder if it's you who's driving that. So, it's and that's depressing, right? Because we're going on a 4-week hiking trip. I have to carry one of the kids in a backpack, one of those carrier backpacks, up and down mountains, and I was so keen on it. And now I've got 2 worries. 1, am I fit enough? Because my fitness trajectory towards that holiday changed. 2, is my foot going to allow me to do all the things we want to do in the mountains or not? And those are 2 pretty big concerns for me. So main priority is making sure the foot works, and making sure that I maintain a general level of strength and fitness, so that during the hiking trip I will probably be able to develop the capacity to do it. I'm not too worried about it, but I would have wanted to arrive just being at the peak of my fitness, and that's disappointing. So you set a goal, and then I'm not going to reach that goal, I know, and that also is disappointing. There's a challenge with goal setting there, even though it keeps us focused on the task. There is also the potential for an adverse effect of goal setting if we're not careful. So yeah, it's been hard. And then we need to talk about, well, what keeps me going? Because I'm still here. I'm still working out. I'm still doing things. I'm still trying to maintain the consistency here. How is that working out? Well, if it was purely based on how I feel and my motivation, I'd probably be stopping. I would not be showing up. I might be doing the podcast a little bit, but it would be a bit inauthentic because I'm not doing the other half of the work, right? I'm not showing up and doing the work, whereas that is the theme of the channel, so to speak. But I wouldn't be, working out because I'm not motivated to do this stuff right now. Not feeling it. I'd rather turn around in bed. And actually today the alarm clock went at 4:45, and I was moderately awake, but I was also like, oh, maybe I can go back to sleep. And then by 5 I was wide awake. I was like, okay, I'm in routine. I might as well set up and just go for it, but I'm not going to stream. I streamed the workout anyway. As I came down and I did everything that was required. Because they're all habits and routine. It's what I do when I come down. I set up my workout stuff. I do the workout. I set up the stream, and we stream. And those are all routines. Those are all things that I do. If I wouldn't do them, I wouldn't know what else I was going to do with the hour I have. One, I'd probably fill it with sitting and doing nothing useful. And the rest of the day would feel awkward because I didn't do something that I promised myself I was going to do. And there's this unspoken agreement with our own psyche, that voice in our head. When we agree something with ourselves and we do it, we feel good about ourselves. When we agree something with ourselves and we don't do it, then it nags us for a while. Oh, I should have. Why didn't I? What's wrong with me? Why can't I? Okay? Those are all mind games, by the way. You can ignore that voice when it starts to do that. We probably had a good reason not to do it. Just wasn't going to happen today. But there is tremendous power on the side of that decision to actually do the thing that we agree with ourselves if we are mindful of the agreements we make with ourselves. That's why I talk about small changes. That's why I talk about habits and routines. That's why I talk about finding things that fit within the demands, commitments, responsibilities that we carry as burdens in our daily life. We don't want to add to that and get stressed about not working on our health. We want to make an agreement with ourselves to have a glass of water before breakfast and to have an apple before lunch, and to look back at the day and say, hey, I succeeded at those small things. And over the course of a year, if you do that for those 2 meals every day for a year, they're going to save you like 100, 200 calories a day in terms of food you eat. Who would have known? Well, that's like maybe a kilo or something off by the end of the year, and you haven't even done anything crazy. Okay? Those are little commitments that we can keep. And once we start seeing the results of those, maybe we can add on more. Maybe something changes in our life circumstances and we find more space to do the things that we need to do to get healthy and fit. But we don't need to beat ourselves up over what we don't do when we make small commitments. When we make big commitments, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to run a marathon in 3 months, and then we start training and we get injured. Our foot gets hurt and we can't run that marathon. And I was like, oh, there's no point in running. No, there's still a point in running and moving, And building the routine of training is not going to run the marathon, because maybe running the marathon isn't the goal here, okay? But we get this wrong all the time. I think it's not, let me say this differently, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't already know or haven't heard from someone else who can tell you to you much better, way more entertainingly, with more depth, with more experience and knowledge, with more nuance than what you already know. We need to sleep 8 hours a day. We need to eat enough whole foods, mostly plants, healthy stuff. We shouldn't overeat. We should avoid the processed stuff, and be mindful of what we put in our mouths. And we need to move, and we need to do a bit of exercise throughout the day. We need to have friends to be happy, and we need to do things that we enjoy because they give us a sense of satisfaction. If anything in that list has not been told to you at any point throughout your life, I'd be surprised, right? So I'm not telling you anything new there. I think the hardest thing is, well, how do I do it in life? That's where the difficulty lies with this, right? That's the hard part. It's the part we need to work on. How can we get to a point where we know everything that we need to do, but it just becomes a part of our daily routine? And it starts with the time that we just switch everything off and go get ready for bed. And just develop the habit of reading a book or doing breathing exercises while we're lying in bed, getting ready to sleep in a room that's void of light, or with a face mask on and earplugs in, so that we can't be disturbed and we get to sleep. Or the foods that we get into the house, what's the routine, the system for the food appearing in the house, and how do we manage that system to make sure that we have mostly healthy stuff in the house, mostly whole stuff, not a lot of sugary stuff, not a lot of things with saturated fats, not a lot of hyperpalatable stuff, but things that when we eat them we actually feel full and satiated for a long time, right? How do we build movement into our routine? Where is the margin for improvement there? Where can we do a little bit more without even noticing it? Take 3 flights of stairs every day if you normally take the elevator 3 times, okay? Even if you just take the stairs 1 flight up and then take the elevator, you're already winning. My guess is you take 1 flight of stairs, you're probably going to take the second one. But build that into your routine. Right now it's a routine for me to get to the office and walk up 13 flights of stairs to grab a cup of coffee. And I take the elevator further up the building, okay? Where can we build that into our routines? Okay. That's what this is about. Motivated or not, if the circumstances are set up, if the habits are ingrained enough, we are going to do the things that are beneficial to our health, fitness, and longevity, regardless if every week we have a meet-up with our friends, game night, right? Whether we feel it or not, we're probably going to show up because of some social pressure, and we're probably going to have a good time regardless, because it also gets us out of whatever is dragging us down mentally. So just showing up and being there because it's part of the routine. And your friends might step up, or they might notice, you might have the conversation you need to have, but you're putting yourself in the position to actually do that through that routine, right? Having a class that we need to show up at every week, whether that's a digital one or an in-person one, is going to help tremendously in finding that consistency there, okay? Those are structural changes to our week and to our system, but those might be big commitments, right? So what could smaller commitments be? And yes, 13 flights there, you can even do 21. I think I do 21 in about 5 minutes, but 5 times 4 ish, and the last one you take the 5th one for granted, so to speak. And it's a good workout actually. It's a good HIIT workout. It's about 45 seconds of walking and then 15 seconds of rest because, be very foolish to try to do it all in one go. But if you understand how the body works and how it can recover, you can do fun things even while you're at work. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to say about motivation versus routines today and how to build that consistency. And I hope it was useful. And I hope it was something that gave us some food for thought. Right now it's time for me to make some breakfast. And I wish I would be going out for a walk this morning, but it doesn't seem like that's in the cards for at least another week. What can I say? We will keep showing up and doing the work, minding our food, minding our sleep, and doing what we can. And things will get better over time. Benjamin Hollingworth, it was good to see you again this morning. Thanks for dropping by. YouTube Punk, I appreciate you dropping by, being well, staying well. Anyone else who's watching, if you're watching, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, say hi, drop by on one of my shorts, one of my videos. Let me know what you think, what do you want more of, what do I need to talk about, do you hate my content? Let me know in the comments. I hope not, but if that's the case, just leave the comment there. Then at least I know, and then you don't have to come back to the channel, but leave me a comment anyway. Hit like on your way out though, and subscribe and share the channel with a friend. If you know any man in his 30s or 40s or 50s who wants to get healthy and fit, go ahead and give them an opportunity to engage with me. I'd love to chat with them, and have them along for the epic journey we're on, because we're just getting started. And it's going to be a long ride, and we're going to learn a lot about ourselves and about life. And I'm excited about that. We're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today. It's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. It's a bit of kindness to ourselves. It's going to go a long way, right? There are enough people there who want to put us down, so we lift ourselves up, friend. And remember, the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. And I know you're going to wait for it, because you're going to subscribe, all 8 of you who are watching, I'm sure. Thanks. Take care.